All right, what's up, State Champs Nation? Maybe you're watching this just after National Signing Day. Congratulations to all of you who are making their advancement to the next level. I want to introduce a gentleman here to my left. His name is Ron Talley. Now, those of you who are familiar with Detroit PSL football back in the early 2000s might remember this young man here. I want to tell you that he is going to be working with State Champs over the course of the rest of this year, especially as we get into the fall football season, helping us out with some analysts and doing all kinds of stuff, man on the street, maybe some interviews. You might see him at one of your games. Make sure you say hi, Ron. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, sir.
All right, it's good to see you.
Thank you, Lauren.
Yeah, thank you for being here. And since it's that day, why don't you talk a little bit about your high school experience?
Oh, so a lot of guys may think that I'm a dinosaur now.
Yeah. So, I don't know what that makes me, but that's all right.
You go back to 2003, and I think about some of the great coaches that I had, the great trainers, and you think about that room, and really you think about all the hard work you put in leading up to the season, the summer and the fall and the summer camp, and thinking about all of that. And it all goes in order, and next thing you know, you're sitting here with your teammates, with your family, with your coaches, people that have pushed you, yelled at you, told you what to do your whole life, and all you see is pride because they're happy for you. So it's a very surreal feeling, and just knowing that it's signing day today in 2024, it just makes you even more excited. It gives you like some goosebumps thinking about what these guys are getting ready to do. What they're going to see at the next level. It's a true salute to the fellas for being able to work through, a true salute to the parents and the coaches, because they have to deal with these young guys so much. So to see them off, it's just like a balloon full of excitement.
Yeah, it's a dream come true. There's no doubt about it. And we're going to get there as to your journey. Detroit Renaissance is where you played your high school football, Free Press All-State and Detroit All-Team selection, D-line, the edge. Your last 2 years saw over 200 tackles, multiple sacks. What's your most memorable moment on the high school football gridiron?
Actually, this may sound kind of crazy. 2 days. I remember one day my senior year, we had a blackout. So it was about 96 degrees. We had our morning practice. All of our coaches were on us. We're conditioning. We're doing all of this stuff. And then next thing you know, the next practice is there. We don't know because we're playing football. There's no Facebook, Twitter, there's none of that. And we get out of practice and people are talking about this blackout. And we are dog tired. You can smell yourself. You can smell the grass on you. You've been hitting. You're sore. Just remembering the grind with the guys. That day you think about everybody, your entire team, all of your friends, the people that hit you, the people that you hit. And so I can still remember that day. So it might sound weird because it's not like, oh, I scored a touchdown or got a sack. Right. But I just remember that day, the workload that we had, the humidity in the air. And it's no hot water. So yeah, fortunately, I ran some bath water, right? We didn't have hot water. So we ran some bath water that previous night, but I was too late getting out in the morning. So I had a bathtub full of cold water, and we just had to take some buckets and we were clean.
Yeah, the great blackout of 2003. Look it up on the internet. It was something else. I was working for the Tigers that day. That was the day we actually had to announce the All-Star game coming to Detroit in 2005. So we had the commissioner there and no power. That's another story. But yeah, that's interesting. Well, again, with reference to signing day, right? You were a highly recruited athlete. Notre Dame, Michigan State, USC come to mind as those who came after you. Talk about your recruiting process.
The recruiting process was something that started off very slow for me. And then I really just dug in. I felt like I was overlooked. I felt like I had something to prove, and I had a big time attitude about it. And I got Miami of Ohio was my very first offer. I was very excited. And then, went to a couple of camps, really put the work in the off season, and just started to get more and more offers. And then suddenly it was overwhelming, but a very privileged position to be in. So you come home, you listen to your voicemail, it's Columbia, it's Louisville, it's Miami, it's all of these schools. And it just pumps you up because after a hard day of practice, because let's keep in mind in the PSL, everything was tackle. So we tackled football, tackled each other playing football every single day, every single practice.
Right.
So after one of those days, you always come home and check the voicemail, and I bet a lot of these guys had that experience,
Yeah, these were the days you're going up against Brandon Graham when you take it on Crockett, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, it was tough. Those were the dog days of the PSL. Every day was a war, especially, at practice.
Absolutely.
You decided on Notre Dame. The February signing day was such a big deal back then. Now, of course, we have early signing day in December, so some of the luster is taken off of what used to be every Wednesday, the first Wednesday of February. But how do you remember it, and did you do anything special that day?
That morning, for me, it just kind of felt unreal. It was going to be official. Once I put my name on that dotted line, I was going to be Irish, and it was just a breath of fresh air, like a future, a place you knew you were going. And I just thought about the type of man I would become, because I'm thinking about guys like Justin Tuck, thinking about guys that went there and had great careers and were great people. Yeah. And that's what happens when you are ready to step up. So a lot of being happy, and then a lot of feelings of anxiety, because these guys are really that doggone good, and you got to step it up. So a mixture of feelings, but definitely like bolts of excitement, and just thinking of that room and the people that were there. You got your head coach, you got a Coach K, the D coordinator. You have all of these people that are here that help to mold you and teach you techniques and do all of these things. So it feels like we all made it, but then you feel like that's what you're representing. You're representing everybody that ever put an ounce of energy in you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Was it a hard decision ultimately for you when you have so many options, especially now that you have the privilege of hindsight years later?
Right.
When you think about how hard it was to make that decision, or was Notre Dame the dream? Was that it, and everybody else, I'm sorry, at that time in your life was second place?
Oh, no. It got to a point, I took 3 official visits. Michigan State, amazing. Iowa, even more amazing in whatever way. And then went to Notre Dame. It wasn't a party school. It wasn't a big university. I wasn't a Catholic. So there were a lot of different factors there. But here's what I looked at. The quality of the young men that I met there, the quality of the coaching staff, how they treated and demanded out of each other. And on my 3rd official visit, I still had 2 more left. And I just decided, hey, 3 weekends in a row are enough. And this is home. And so I just wanted to put my foot in the ground and say, this is home. Keep the story going in a different place. So yes, it was tough, because you meet all these great mentors. They have all of these experiences, all of these different terminologies. So they're all pulling at you, but you have to make a choice. And that's part of a young man making, a very firm grown man decision. So it was tough, it was worth it, and I definitely felt like that was home.
How bizarre is it that nowadays you take those official visits and they can say, well, we can guarantee you $250,000 as a result of you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a different universe than what you experienced, what these athletes now, there's actually money on the table that is part of the deal. And it just seems like their decision making can even be more difficult.
I love it. And I love it because there's so much in profits.
Yes.
And for the young guys that are the product, thinking of it in a business term, they are the product. Michigan, Tennessee, Texas, all of these places are going to bring 100,000+ people. If you have that opportunity to secure your future, take a deep breath, and you won't have to eat bologna sandwiches in the summertime because you don't have those meal plans. You know, I am all for it, because in the end of everything, they're not working off of potential and what they could be. They have value today. So I like that these young men can get a piece of the pie that they're actually baking for everybody to come see on Saturdays.
Yeah, great point, great point. You ended up transferring to Delaware, and you were all conference there. You were undrafted. What was draft day like? Were you expecting to be drafted? Was that a huge disappointment, or was it more like, we'll see what happens, I know that I can make my own future?
Right. The last part that you just said, I felt I was at home in Detroit with my mom and aunt, and we played cards. We were playing cards. I got a call from a team in the 6th round. Hey, we're going to draft you with the next pick. Okay, and I'm not going to get them any publicity, and here's why. I never heard from them since, right? And so that kind of ticks you off.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a real Detroit guy, so I'm a tough guy. I didn't cry about it. We kept playing cards, and then next thing you know, I got the right offer. And
so draft's over, phone starts ringing, free agents.
And I feel like I'm right back in the game. So for those guys that feel like, hey, you know, I wasn't a first round or second, don't worry about that, because you can be a veteran and of the NFL and still live out your dream. All you really need is for that door to crack a little bit. That door cracked for me, and I kicked it in and put a doorstop in it, and I walked all through the room.
Yes, you did.
So I have no regrets. Actually, I like it because it makes for a better story.
Yeah, we're talking with Ron Talley. He's going to be doing a lot of stuff with state champs on the football side. Who knows, maybe some other things, just kind of getting acquainted here and getting our audience used to hearing from him. He's got a heck of a pair of pipes on him there, so I tell you, he is broadcast savvy and ready to go. And you had an opportunity to play for several NFL teams and have that NFL experience. What was it like? Playing
in different climates was very interesting because first stop was Green Bay. It's cold. It's like a village. You're focused. I think that that's a great foundation for young guys, for rookies. I just do. Then I went to
Look at what they did this year.
Exactly.
Youngest team in the NFL.
Yes.
How far they went.
Yes, and I think that every organization has a different flavor, and sometimes you can see it regardless of a superstar talent amongst the team, and you notice that some teams always find a way, some organizations rather, find a way to raise their level of play and focus. So it was crazy going from the Midwest, very cold, to the Southwest for 4 years, a stop in Florida, a stop in New York, 1 year piece on those two, and it was pretty amazing. I was very fortunate, but here's how it actually works. You bust your butt, have great film, and have the best ability, which is availability, and coaches, GMs, scouts, they all move. So it really does come down to you doing what you're supposed to do and with consistency. And once that shows, you'll get that next phone call. So it really doesn't matter which of the 32 teams you play for. It matters that you take advantage of right now. So in the blink of an eye, 7 years was up. So, you know, it's on to the next things, and taking those experiences and knowledge and network and bringing it with you, and, you know, just helping to move forward in the future.
How long have you been back home?
Oh, I've been back home now. It's 2024, which is fast. I've been home for about 7 years now, and it feels good. It feels good to be back.
feels good to have you here.
Yes,
you know?
yes, I'm excited.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff again with State Champs. We've got the Michigan High School Football All-Star Games coming up. We'll make sure we get some really unique content. I want to have Ron on the field when the skills competition goes down.
Oh, yeah.
That's always a fun experience, and we'll see what we can make of that. He's also going to be doing some volunteer work with the LTU football coaching staff. So lots going on in his life. Lots of Ron Talley you're going to see here on the State Champs Airways weekend for you. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes today.
Thank you very much.
All right.
State Champs, let's go.
All right.